Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi, I'm Robin.
Welcome
To Schoolwide Download.
Welcome back to Schoolwide Download. All right, let's start with this today, Robin. So picture this.
Okay.
A ninth grade student, I know you're elementary, but picture this, a larger one. Ninth grade student turns in a flawless essay.
Okay.
Good content, good grammar, strong punctuation.
Mm-hmm.
The vocabulary is a little bit advanced, but the voice feels a little bit off.
Mm-hmm.
The sources are kind of vague and just starts to send off some signals in your brain. So the question is it cheating, or is it a sign that our assignments may not necessarily be built properly for 2025?
Oh, okay. So you're not just automatically going to this child cheated, the student cheated.
Students get the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Well, I think a lot
Sometimes.
of teachers right now are grappling with that and feeling that. That comes up quite a bit when we do sessions on AI within schools. And let's do a quick poll. So Is it cheating to allow students to use AI on homework?
I think that is a question that nobody wants to hear this answer, but it depends.
Okay.
Don't you think?
I agree. I think it does depend. So let's say, for example, this essay they turn in is perfect, flawless. Mm-hmm. Grammar's a little, vocabulary is a little elevated. You notice that you're feeling like they're using it. What do you do?
Well, I think one thing you want to do is go back and reflect on the assignment that you gave.
Okay.
And were your directions clear and precise? Uh-huh. Do your students maybe know the expectations or the parameters for AI usage or the absence of AI on assignment? I think it does, to a certain extent, come back on us.
Okay. And I'd love to hear all the educators out there. Are you allowing students to use AI for homework? Because personally, for me as a parent, if my child needs help with homework and it's something that I can't help them with, I would love for them to be able to use some sort of AI tool within reason to help them understand a concept. I don't think that's cheating. They're not doing the whole assignment. They're just asking for a specific, maybe clarification.
So not at the risk of dating myself. So back in the day, if a student needed maybe additional help or remediation, maybe the teacher asked him or her to do some additional, let's say it's math problems.
Okay.
Well, then fast forward, was it dishonest if somebody then later was struggling with, let's say, the same math problems, and they went online to Khan Academy and watched a video that helped them through some maybe difficult content that they weren't struggling or that they were struggling with? Well, now we have AI.
I was going to say, it's like the same. I mean, to me, you're saying they're watching a video and now they're using AI to replace that Khan Academy video. I will say from my own child's eyes, she used something similar. Her teacher allowed her to use Google, and what she said to me was, well, what's the difference? And I kind of thought, well, there's a big difference between using AI and Google. But what she did is she hid all of her questions and she marked them out and took a picture and asked for clarification on personification. And so she was able then to learn from that, and then she did the assignment. So is that cheating, or is that just...
she didn't go to Google for help with personification.
Which I'm not sure she would know how to do that, but she knew how to use the AI tool.
Well, it's interesting, but today's episode is not about catching kids doing something wrong. This is not a we gotcha moment. It's more about, making thinking visible in an AI world. So what we hope is by the end of today's episode that we'll leave you with a couple different moves that in the classroom you can try to use tomorrow.
And just to be clear, we are pro-learning. We are not saying, this isn't like, we want to find the shortcut for these students, or these are the tools they can use to help them get through the assignment. It's more about, we want them to learn, but it's here. We keep saying it's here. So how can we embrace it and use it?
So is there going to be some element of policing or watching? Of course there is. That's nothing new. That's always been there. So it's a new tool that creates a new set of guidelines that students need to have in front of them to benefit from. So before we get into today's episode, we want to also hear from you, like Robin mentioned earlier. If you're a curriculum person, if you're an instructional coach, if you're a classroom teacher, if you've seen anything in the classroom or you want to share with us specific to this episode or just in general feedback on the podcast, we would love to hear from you. Absolutely love to hear from you. Your comments are appreciated. So please let us know what you need to see more of, or possibly what you need to see and hear less of.
I was going to say, it could be both. It could be, you've seen this tool, you've had students like my example that I had, you have kids in your class do something, and we'd love for you to share, because I think that's a way for us all to learn from each other.
Success stories.
And unsuccessful stories.
Because I think sometimes we learn more from the latter than the former, but let's hear about what's going well and what maybe didn't go as well as you hoped.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, as we talk about AI usage in this particular case in the classroom, I think the most effective practice right out of the gate is there needs to be clear and simple guidelines for students. Okay. And in my opinion, at least, that should not be a chart on the wall that has literally one line that says AI is cheating.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless is that what you?
No,
okay.
Obviously from my example, I was okay with my daughter using it appropriately though. So what are you saying? So what's your idea?
I do think, and I used the word earlier, it depends, or two words, it depends. So the nature of the assignment is certainly going to direct us into what would be an appropriate usage of AI. So I think one possible guideline is it's not allowed on this assignment. So if what you're assessing is creative writing, in my opinion, I'm not a former English teacher, but if I put myself in that position, I think if you're assessing creative writing, I'm not sure how it would be okay. Right.
So you're saying there's times when it's allowed and not allowed, depending upon the assignment.
I think so. But to give that example of if what is being assessed is creative writing, depending upon what the teacher is looking at, maybe AI could be used to help with idea starters.
Oh, I think that's a great way.
And then ultimately, if the writing is what's being assessed, then assess the writing, and that would not be appropriate for AI to do the writing. Once again, it's very situational. So not allowed could be one.
Okay.
Possibly use it, like in my example, for brainstorming or possibly editing. There could be specific pieces of an assignment that if you're telling the students you can use it for this.
Right.
And once again, just like if you were going to, this is going to be old school, if you're going to the World Book Encyclopedia for something, if you're going to an
what's
online,
that? Wait, what's that? Yeah, I was like, don't let.
If you're going to an online resource, so you cite your resources. So there are appropriate ways to cite the use of artificial intelligence tools. So, and ultimately, I think on the other end of the spectrum, let's say in my middle school social studies class, what I am actually assessing is a group presentation on the U.S. Civil War. Well, if I'm assessing, then maybe everything involved with creating and putting it together might be okay.
Yeah, I think that if AI is thinking for you, that isn't right. That's kind of cheating. If I'm asking it to think for me and do a writing assignment or respond to something and I have not put anything into it,
right,
that's not my own thought. But if it's helping me brainstorm or kind of like you said, come up with ideas or topics or even tidy up my writing a little bit. I mean, I use Grammarly on a daily basis, and that is a form of AI. It's fixing. Am I writing it? Yes. Am I writing the response or the email? But is it helping me? And I guess for all intent purposes, teaching me, I mean, I guess if I really pay attention close enough to it, it would be. So I think that's kind of that idea. If it's not thinking for you, then I think it's if it's just helping you with that thought process.
And if as a teacher you want part of the work to be coming up with ideas, then be specific and direct. You're not allowed to use AI to help you come up with ideas on this. I want them to be your own original. But if it's the writing process that's being assessed, then using AI to come up with ideas, I don't see that as a problem. However, let's kind of put some more meat on the bones.
Because we keep saying writing, and I think the reason we keep going back to writing is because that is the one that teachers are fearing the most. I think that's the one that everyone's most worried about. It's not so much them watching a video, or I've had a couple math teachers say, well, they took a picture and it solved the problem for them. But can they work the problem out?
Right.
So there's ways around it. But with writing, it's really like that touchy subject. I think that's why we keep bringing it up as like, that's the one that people are in most fear of.
Well, it seems like we've accepted over time that Grammarly can check your grammar. And I don't know when we arrived at this, but we've had spell check for a while. So at some point in time, we said it's okay to check the spelling. It's okay to check the grammar, but we're still not okay, and I'm not saying that we should be, with it actually doing the writing. So in some of the workshops I've done, I make the analogy, whether it's correct or not, but AI is to the English teacher like the calculator, especially the graphing calculator, was to the math teacher in the 70s and the 80s. So it's a huge shift, and we're in the process of handling it. Of course you do.
I do. So I have 3 years ago, AI's coming onto the scene. I'll be honest, I was an instructional coach. I didn't really know much about it. And one of my teachers literally ran down the hallway. Like I could hear him running to my office. And he was trying to tell me about this new thing, this AI tool, that it's going to ruin, he's an English teacher, it's going to ruin his writing and the teaching of writing, the art of writing. And he's an amazing teacher at writing. Like I've never seen a teacher able to reach as many kids as he does with writing. Writing's a struggle for a lot of kids. And he was terrified of AI. He was like, this is going to ruin it. This is going to ruin my process. This is going to ruin everything that I do. Kids are going to be cheating. 3 years now later, he has my daughter, and he has embraced AI. And not that he's teaching the kids how to use AI, but he has embraced it himself. He uses it to come up with creative writing prompts. He uses it to take scripts and poetry and make it so the kids like it. It gives them, like, he'll do different themes. He loves to cook, so he'll take a poem and he'll turn it into a cooking poem based on what he ate for dinner the night before. I mean, he's using it to generate creativity in the classroom, and in the end, the kids like to write. And so 3 years ago, panic induced. Now embracing it. I would venture to say he's probably one of the most... one of the teachers that has embraced AI the most, as in using it himself to be a better teacher.
So he went from fear, which was understandable, to I've understood it, and it's now a tool in my tool belt that can help me. Yeah. So kind of to rehash some usages or some scenarios in which AI we think would be appropriately used. So if you need help or assistance maybe with building vocabulary. So once again, at the risk of sounding older, so instead of going to the thesaurus... I
was going to just say, don't even mention it. my kid would be like, what is that?
Let alone the card catalog. But anyways, the thesaurus, you can use AI to help you build...
That's a good way to
vocabulary.
Use it. Yeah.
To help you, before creating or writing a report, you can use it to help you brainstorm. Make an outline. Yeah. Get feedback on a draft of something.
Feedback's huge. As a teacher, as an English teacher, giving every student personal feedback takes a lot of time. Yes. And so using that kind of a tool that if they could self-assess themselves before they come to me to do that conference, that teacher-student conference, which is still very important. But if they could have already done something to use a tool to kind of help them before coming to me, we wouldn't have to take as much time. I could probably move a little bit quicker. What about making it visible on your rubric? Like if you have your writing rubric with your students, making it visible in a row saying AI use and process evidence. And they can even say, I used it for this. Maybe I used it to generate some vocabulary words. Maybe I used it to get me through my first draft.
So in other words, then as a teacher, they share this with you in a discussion, like, oh, that's a great way to leverage AI.
The conversation alone. What if it's not the right way? They weren't using it the right way. Then I, as the educator, can say, you know what, that was a great idea, except you used it to help you write your conclusion. I really want you to write it, and then let's edit it. You know what I mean? It can make that conversation, open up the conversation. That might be a unique way to kind of get it into the classroom.
Yeah, and it's just, and once again, if we're talking with students, we're going back to our foundational premise, which is it's all about relationships. It's all about making students feeling both comfortable and confident.
Yeah.
And that's just going to support that even more. So an example of a line or a teacher line, if you will, that you could say is, all right, so AI is allowed for brainstorming and feedback. If you use it, paste your prompt into the document. Show me what you told AI in order for it to help you, or the tool that you're using.
I love that
And then
idea.
tell me what, based on what AI said, what did you keep because you thought yours was better, and what feedback did you take from AI that you thought made your work or your writing even better?
I'm even envisioning like a template and even having it a box to the right of your writing, and you can paste in what AI gave you as a suggestion. Keep your original writing, and then if you paste it, if you put it on the side, like this is what AI gave me, you could work together, teacher and student, and say, how can we merge the two? I love that idea. That's a great idea.
And not to scare anybody, but there actually are AI tools out there now that as you grade and provide feedback, they can learn how you grade and provide feedback. But we're not going to talk about that.
I was like, of course.
That's a little bit scarier.
So why are kids going to AI? I mean, let's be honest. It's pressure. It's the time it's taking them to get these assignments done. It's a quick, you're trying, just the same as me. I mean, I use it to shorten time on, writing an email or, checking. It's that time. I really think that kids get very overwhelmed with rubrics. Rubrics are important, but I do think students get overwhelmed with what it looks like. And so if they can just use something like AI to kind of speed up the process, this is kind of why they're going to this. Just as the same as an adult. Why are adults using it? It's the same principle. Think about that.
We are busy as adults, and kids
they're
with
busy
their
too.
school schedules, their activities, family commitments. So kind of a takeaway based on what you've just said or what we've talked about throughout this podcast is, it sounds like if we fix the task or adjust the task or embed what's allowable or unallowable in a task, then we're going to be worrying less about the behavior. So we're going to be acting instead of reacting. So make thinking that the students do, or the thinking that students are doing, that's the most important part. That's the star of the show, if you will. That's the proof. That's what we want them to continue to do, with some appropriate guidelines and structures for when AI is appropriate or when it is inappropriate.
And I really liked what you said, acting instead of reacting, because if you can just come with them within the process of it, instead of it just saying, don't use it, don't touch it, they're going to do it anyway. So instead of it's walking side by side and saying, this is the way that you can use that. So let's do some 3 ways that you can redesign without some extra prep.
Okay.
So require process. So ask for notes, screenshots, as you said, of AI prompts, or just how did you come up with that? If you used it, show me how. Show me what you put in. Show me what you got out of it. Okay. Localize and personalize. Tie it to class texts, your school schedule, a short interview. AI can't fake being in your room. Okay, so think about that. That's a very unique. Using the schedule or using your own data, your school, your class text. Okay. Add light constraints. So use 3 course terms correctly. Compare 2 methods we use and apply this to your bell schedule. Let's see. Compare 2 methods we used. Oh, so 2 ways that you would use it in the classroom.
Exactly.
What are the 2 ways that we would have used it, and how did you use it to incorporate?
You're extending the thinking.
Yeah, which is what you want to do anyway.
So let me also share a couple new ways to kind of just not really flip the learning, but just to swap possibly an old methodology to a new one. So instead of, and this is an example I've used a lot, if the old assignment was write a 5-paragraph essay on climate change, that's, I mean, in my mind, you're setting yourself up there. that needs to be redefined a little bit. So instead of a 5-paragraph essay on climate change, use our lab temperature data and last week's article to argue for one school policy change. If you used AI, include your prompt and then what you kept or changed. So AI is allowable.
Yeah.
How did you use it? What did you keep? What did you change?
That makes more interesting to write about anyway.
Yeah,
the first one is just, I think, like an old, like I've heard that like a million times as a essay or a prompt or something. Make it like a more, I like that.
So one more example. Solve 10 systems problems. Do the odd numbers on page and then check the answers in the back. Instead of that, solve 3, then record a 60-second voice note explaining why substitution or elimination fits each. If you used AI, read the AI step that you had disagreed with and why. So it's explanation, and I think we're doing students a service if part of what they are doing to show competency is sharing and speaking.
Yeah.
So
those are really good ideas too, and it's elevating that thinking. It's making them go a little bit past just explaining how they got to how they got to where they got to. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
And obviously, you have to set up some sort of guardrails. There's policies within school. You need to make sure you're within your school's policy, but also keeping note that maybe you have some sort of AI statement within your classroom at the first week of school or in your class newsletter or something along the lines, just to kind of cover yourself as well as the students.
So let's talk about something that comes up quite a bit. Let's talk about AI detectors. Different detectors share the percentage with which they are accurate, none of which are 100.
Yeah.
So if a student is accused of academic dishonesty based on an AI detector, there is by default a chance that they actually really did, which gives me caution.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Great way I've heard a couple of people talk about this. Treat AI detectors like smoke alarms, not like judges.
Oh,
So if something is flagged, if something seems off, ask the student to show the notes. Ask to see a draft. Ask to see a history. If you're working in a Google Doc, you have version histories that you can check. And not that this assures that it's, but a large paste into a document might be a red flag.
What happened to conversation?
Yep.
I mean, really, what happened to just asking the simple question, oh, this is amazing. Tell me what you wrote. Because, I'm pretty sure if they're going to cheat, I shouldn't say cheat, if they're going to use AI to help them or assist in writing, they probably didn't reread it. So if you say, tell me a little bit about what you wrote about, that's going to be, you should know your students well enough to kind of be able to determine.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing also to keep in mind with this technology is if in a discussion with families, if it gets to that calm language, hey, we're working on building skills, we're working on building honesty, we're working on how to properly use these tools. So when AI is allowed, students are expected to disclose how they used it and explain the logic behind using that tool. That's what we're working on.
I think as a parent, I would be very, I think I would honor that and be like, okay, thank you. Thank you for showing them the correct way, or just at least telling me that, we're going to be using it to build skills and honesty versus that I'm going to show them how to use this tool to shorten their workload.
Yeah, don't open that conversation with Robin cheated.
Yeah, don't do that.
Probably not the best way to start the conversation.
And to be honest, when rules are clear and the task demands are clear, I think that all these AI headaches we keep talking about are going to disappear. If your expectations are clear, your rules are clear, you have that relationship with your class, I really do feel like a lot of the stuff that we're talking about today isn't going to be in your class and in your classroom.
Exactly. So as we kind of wrap up the episode, three things that you can try tomorrow relative to what we've just discussed. So add a one-liner to any task. In other words, if you used AI, paste your prompt, name the tool, and write 2 sentences about what you kept and what you changed.
I love that one.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
Swap one homework for a process capture. In other words, rough notes or prompts. Put in things that you process through when you use the tool into your chat into the final draft. That's 2. And 3, this one's kind of cool. Run a 10-minute check the bot routine. Give the class an AI-generated answer with 2 planted mistakes.
Ooh, I love that.
And let them find and fix the errors.
I have heard of teachers using white font in their prompt.
Yeah.
Just a generic word, and so if they've copy and pasted that into something, it'll talk about the word will show up in the answer. I mean, but just all 3 of these that you just mentioned are ways for the students to work with it and show you how they're using it versus it as I gotcha.
Right.
All right. And so another thing, one bonus, copy and paste this parent blurb into your newsletter. Our class is learning how to use AI responsibly. When it's allowed, students must disclose how they used it and explain their thinking. The goal is better learning and academic honesty. I think being honest with our parents and families and just putting that out there eases their mind a little bit. I'm not saying as a teacher I'm teaching them how to use it. We're using it. We're showing them how to use it honestly.
Right.
So here are today's 3 takeaways. Make thinking visible, foster honesty, and redesign tasks to be AI ready.
Big takeaways, but important.
Yeah.
And we want to hear from you. So please feel free to leave a comment sharing your successes. And if it's okay with you, share something that didn't go well. Failures are learning experiences. Yeah. We tell kids to fail forward. We should be able to do the same. And we'd love to give you a shout out in a future episode. And also, please feel free to leave a comment with any feedback that you have regarding the podcast. Likes, dislikes. We want to continue to improve what we are providing, and we appreciate any input that listeners have so we can continue to improve the podcast.
Yeah. So until then, keep it simple, keep it honest, and keep it school-wide. Thanks for joining us for another episode of School-Wide Download.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next time.